All right, there we go. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. This is yours truly, Magoon. If this is your first time watching, welcome to the room. Welcome to the Healing Room Tarot, where you will find your healing. Um, Today I did do a pre-shuffle just to see the direction of where spirit would like for everyone to go. Um, and it's a energy of duality, meaning two things happening simultaneously at the same time. Spirit wants everyone to go after their dreams, to go forth and put their best foot forward, but also to relax. Learn when to pull back, learn when to exert energy, learn when to say no to yourself, not just everyone else, but to yourself. Because there comes a point where we push ourselves and we just push, and we never let up. And Spirit is saying, we know the direction that we must take. We know we must go full force, but also learn when to find that balance, to stay grounded, to sleep, even to eat. I know I'm a person. Um, I know if you ever see me in person, you'd be like, what? I'm a person that I rarely eat, and that is a part of my problem, right? But when finding a balanced meal, you feel rejuvenated, right? When you get the proper amount of rest, you feel rejuvenated, you feel energized. So, Spirit wants us to get into the habit of going for the things that we want, but also understanding when and how to rest, when and how to plan. In fact, spirits want us to plan. One of the cards that I read even suggested, um, for your future plans, to go ahead and make a 12-month plan, right? And when you make this 12-month plan, plan out exactly what you want to do, plan out your goals, plan out how you wish to execute, and execute it, right? That way you're not scrounging around looking for things, because you already have these things put into place. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and get into the cards, because I want to see what else come out for us. This is a collective reading. If it resonates, take what's for you and leave the rest. And I pause because I feel like that this during this reading that we will have multiple readings. I've been picking that up ever since I've been getting my things together. Like, it's going to be a dual reading. So first, I'm going to pull out a few healing cards, angel cards, to see, and two have already popped out, to see three, what is something that we need to heal or be aware of, what we need to pay attention to, what kind of stones, crystals, that we need to have around if you are a crystal wearer. If you're not into crystals, that is fine. The message is still good for you. Spirit just asked me to look at the bottom of the deck. So I'm going to take it out as the bottom of the deck card. And that card is Opal. Let yourself sparkle and shine. You are guided to be bold and show your bigger than life side to the world. So for some of you, some of us, I will even include myself in here, right? It's time for us to shine. That is the overall message. So these things are going to help us shine. These cards that I'm about to read are going to help us get to the point where Spirit is saying, I want you to be well rested. I want you to go after what you want. Go after your dreams, your goals, the thing that I put inside of you and inspiring you to do. I want you to go after it. But I also want you to know how to do things in moderation so that you can rest. And while you're resting and working towards your goals, how to shine properly. So the first question, okay? Maybe there's a maybe one of you have asked the question, right? Um, but the first card that came up was Smoky Quartz, and it says clearing negativity, release negativity from within or around you. The first and foremost, we must always be aware of our thoughts, because that is negative energy just going round and round and round in our heads. And whatever is in our head, we will speak out. And when we speak out, what we're doing is we're manifesting whatever those thoughts are. So that's why it's be careful, why it's been said to just be quiet at times, just watch and see how things play out. In fact, one of the other pre-shuffle cards suggested, um, to get wild, right? And it said to just throw the cards in the air and just wherever they land, they just land, and you deal with it, right? Because spirit doesn't want you to be in too control or have too much control or so much control that you don't let up. When you it's the equivalent of an overbearing parent. That parent wants to make sure that you do this way, make sure you do things um in a certain way, right? And when you tell the parent, like, well, that's not what I intended it to do, the parent's like, okay, well, these are my plans for your life. I want you to do X, Y, and Z. And you try to do it, you try to please that parent, but they're never satisfied. Or you fail because it's not your true authentic self. And so spirit is guiding us and encouraging us to be more authentic with ourselves, right? And when we learn how to stop pushing ourselves so much but start enjoying ourselves, we get a chance to see the other things that people see in us that we don't see. I'm preaching to myself tonight, okay? Just to let you all know. And yes, I said preaching because I feel like for some of you, I'm preaching to the choir. Um, the next stone that came out is aquamarine, and it says divine life purpose. Trust the signs and your inner guidance, which are leading you to fulfillment. So, for those of you, if this is your first time here, or if you happen to see me on and decided to take a look at what I was doing, this is what this card means. Aquamarine. It is saying to just follow the path that spirit is guiding you on. Sometimes that path may look so strange and so weird. It may look, I'm going to say it because it popped into mind, but it's going to look ungodly, right? It's going to look like something new. And when it's something new, it's scary. It's territory that you've never been in. Um, much like when I started this realm, I had so many friends, and so I still have so many friends that question, like, what do you do again? Like, what's going on? Because they, for whatever reason, everyone thinks I have fallen into devil worship. I've never worshiped the devil. I will not worship the devil, right? I'm a child of light. I hang out with the angels at night, okay? Um, but without having that full knowledge of this side of spirituality and growing up in a Christian background, Christian church, it was hard for me to make this move. because I didn't quite understand it. But now that I'm here, I'm able to see, feel, in tune with everything related to spirit. Um, I have rarely shared on this platform that I'm also a medium. And so sometimes I do have visitations from some of the watchers' grandparents or their loved ones who going on to the other side, right? And when you start to share that with someone that's in the church and they start saying, oh, well, now that person's playing with necromancy. Necromancy is dealing with bringing the dead back to talk. I don't bring them nowhere. They come to me. Um, and I will also say that I've had this gift since I was a kid. I didn't understand it. I didn't have the vocabulary for it, right? But now that I do, so now I can put a label on things. And so for a lot of you, many of the things that spirit is guiding you, you've already been doing it, but now you're starting to learn the vocabulary of what you've been doing. And now you're starting to see that, hey, this is not what I thought it was. Like, what's going on? You know, um, how do I navigate this? And Spirit is saying, just allow me to lead you, and you stop trying to control everything and watch how it all unfolds for you. Because each of our paths, it will unfold into something beautiful, to something light, to something joyful, to something peaceful. Like I've always valued my peace more so than anything, but now I'm starting to experience the peacefulness. Because even in this space, there is a certain discipline that what you have to do. We don't just a lot of us readers, seers, speakers, spellcasters, what have you, right? Depending on what the person is called to do. I'll even say preachers, teachers, and prophets, because I need everyone to understand that we're all connected. It is just the title that we hold. And if you listen to one of us, you're listening to all of us because Spirit is telling us all the same things. Spirit is telling us all how to be better people, better humans on this earth, to live a human, to live a humanistic experience, and to have a humanistic experience, and in a way where we can all prosper, and in a way where we can live amongst each other peacefully. And all the disciplines teach you these things. Because if we learn how to truly live peaceably with everyone, we will recognize that karma can sit down and rest. Just think for a moment. If we were all to live peaceably and didn't care what nobody else said about us, didn't care what nobody else thought about us, just didn't care, just, okay, well, that's their opinion of me. I'm fine. How are you doing? Would you like a cup of coffee? I'm about to go make some. Okay, here. And we just live our lives. Just think about how less, well, the first word that came to me was trauma, but think about how much less trauma we would have. Think about how much less fighting and name calling and bitterness and anger that we're all carrying. Think about how much less that would be, just because we have decided to live peaceably among each other. And we're living in a place where we don't have to worry about who's doing what to us, who's going to stab us in the back. We don't have to worry about trusting people. Can I trust them? We will automatically just do it. But that's not the world that we have created for ourselves over the many centuries that we've been here. And now, so when spirit tries to get us to that spot, we fight it because it's something that we're not used to doing. That was for somebody because you've been struggling and fighting with your peace, struggling and fighting for acceptance, is what I'm hearing. But the first key and the first step is to accept yourself. When you accept yourself, that is another level of confidence and genuineness that will come from your heart space, and nobody can take that away. Nobody can take that away. That's like someone saying, "Oh, I can take your DNA and change it." All right, you can try, but you're not going to change my DNA because it's who you are. It's who we're all meant to be, right? We're all meant to be peaceful subjects in the kingdom of earth. And the only way that we can really feel that, express that, is to get back to the true nature of things, right? Let's get back to the true nature of things. All right, the third card that came out is Dolomite, and it says, "Stay strong in your faith. A positive outcome is dependent on you keeping a positive mindset." So, mind you, I just talked about getting to the true nature of things. If we get to the true nature of things and are peaceful and work, live, eat, breathe in a peaceful state of mind, we have no choice but to stay strong in our faith because our faith and spirit work. Spirit operates in us through our faith and performs things for us on our behalf in faith. And through faith, we're able to do a lot of things. So I know faith is most often, used in the realm of church, but faith is mostly used in church, but it's beyond the church. Faith is that thing that jumpstarts you. Is that thing that puts you in another gear. It's that place of nirvana that's within you that makes you ascend even when you're on this earth. And when people all around you saying, "I'm looking at your situation and I don't see how you're smiling." It's that type of faith. It's that faith that when all hell is breaking loose in your life, you know that it's going to be all right because you've already seen the end. You already know that spirit is leading you down a road of newness. Um, there was this thing I was reading, and it said I had to learn one of my biggest lessons that I had to learn was the relationship between endings and beginnings. And at first, I was like, I know if something ends, something new begins, duh. But then I started to realize that even with endings, when something is getting ready to end, we have this habit of trying to, oh my gosh, it's about to, I need to grab it, I need to hold, I need to keep it. And spirit is like, no, I'm trying to take this out of your hands to give you something new. It's the equivalent of, I know you've all seen it, where the guy is like in a baseball stand and he gives the girl a teddy bear, and then she's like, okay. So then he takes the bear back, and she's like, okay. And he comes back with a medium sized bear, and he let her sit with that, and she's just like, wow. And then he takes that, and she's like, okay. And then he brings back an even larger bear, and he puts it in her hands. Now she's like overwhelmed, like she's like, wow, I have this huge bear, what I'm going to do. And she's looking like, are you going to take this? He's like, no, you're going to keep it. um that's what spirit tries to get us to do. Spirit tries to gradually give us things, And yes, we come across things, we come across people, and we try to make those things almost like a part of our destiny, right? But once their purpose for being in our life is up and it's done, they gotta go. No matter who, what, where, when, and why it was, it has to go. Because if it don't go, we won't grow. Honestly, no pun intended, but we honestly will not grow because what it then becomes, what was being a light, what was shedding light on us, has now become an anchor for us. And because we can't see ourselves without it, we hold on to it. I wish you could all see me. Um, we all try to hold on to it, right? And it's like Spirit's like, give it to me. And we're like, no, but I need it. Spirit's like, give it to me. You don't need this anymore. It's like, why do you need a remote control for a voice controlled system? Just speak what you want and watch it manifest. You're too busy trying to build it from the ground up. Speak what you want and allow me to perform it. Speak what you want and allow yourself to manifest it. I'm reading your comment, Lucy. You doing? Oh, you are absolutely welcome, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you. Um, but yeah, so we have to allow spirit to take those things that we no longer need, so that we can grasp what we truly need. And then the last card that came out of this deck was Sugar Light, and it says, "Own your divine power." So we went from, I'm going to read you all of them. So we went from clearing out negativity in our lives to understanding that we must trust the process and our divine life's purpose, and knowing that we must utilize the tool of faith to carry us to our next level in life. And when we get there, we have to own it. We have to own our divine power. We have to know without a shadow of a doubt, as they say, that what you end up doing, who you end up meeting and partnering with, how you walk, how you talk, how you address things is meant for this time. It's meant for you. And it reads, replace codependent people pleasing with assertiveness and empowerment. We all, to some extent, people please, and we have to stop, because when we please other people, what we're doing is we're giving away our power. That's that boundary crossing. And remember what I was saying earlier, spirit wants us to do things in moderation. Yes, do them. Yes, do the planning. Yes, do um the prep work, but also save some time for us. And with moderation, when you understand how much power you're okay, so spirit just dropped this into my head. That's why I started laughing. So think of it as a bank account. When you start to see where's my money going, and then you go back to balance your books, you have an account for every dollar that you have spent. Where is it going? Where is it not going? Where does it need? Spirit just said that we have to do the same thing with our power. Who are we giving our power to? How much power are we giving them over us, around us, preventing us from doing certain things? When we take into account and having accountability for, mind you, because we have to recognize that we're giving away our power freely. We're not just Oops, I just let out some more power. Let me get it. No, let me clean this up. No, no, no. We're saying here, I know that um, I said that I will stay late for this project. I'm going to stay late every night just for this project. So you can give me things at 8 o'clock at night, and I'll start working on them. And then by the next day, until we are finished with this project. And Spirit is like, no, 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 no. You have the same amount of working hours as everyone else. Don't give away your power because you don't see that I can give you the speed that you need. You don't see that I can give you the intelligence and the planning skills to handle this project during the normal working hours. And the best way for you to execute this is by being balanced, by not being overly stressed. Because what will happen is that you will get stressed. You will start to lose sight of the, what's the word I want to use? The vision, right? You start to lose sight of the vision because because you're wearing yourself thin. And that's often what we do in our day-to-day lives is we start doing things so much and it becomes so mundane to us, and we're just like, oh well, I'm just clocking in. I'm just doing, and Spirit's like, no, but I have more for you to do. I have people that I need you to meet, and I need you to understand that when you give away your power, you're depleting yourself, so that when these people come by you, you're not shining the way you're supposed to. You're not talking the way you're supposed to. You're not being the person I created you to be. You're you're the person, but you're running on E. Like, I know, like my phone, it just gave me a warning that I need to plug it back up, right? Think about your electronics. When the battery starts to get low, it operates differently than when it's at full capacity, when it's a fully charged battery. And Spirit is saying, I need you all to recognize that you too have this same capability. And one thing I have noticed is that Spirit will create, if we look at everything, we can, like everything that's on this earth, I promise you, they are physical examples on what happened to us spiritually. Because when you can relate to yourself as a machine that also needs to be plugged up sometimes. I just need to be cut up. I just need to cut off and shut myself off away from everything around me and the noise that's around me, and just be. When you understand that sometimes, yes, I need a screen protector. I need someone to screen my calls and screen my emails. And this, I'm talking about on a personal matter, so that you don't become overwhelmed with the request, right? This is why people hire personal assistants. It's not just to say, oh, I make enough money to have an assistant. No, it's literally so that they can stay within their boundaries of not overworking so much. You are very welcome, Lucy. You are very, very, very welcome. Um, she was saying that her phone too needed to be charged. um, but see, we all have to get the understanding that we're all put on this earth to help each other. Whether that is to be an example, whether that is to be a teacher, a guide, to help everyone, right? And I oftentimes don't consider myself a guide. And I'll tell you the funny thing, my light might flicker out, so I'm warning you now. Um, okay, did good. But one of the things is when I was in undergrad, they used to put me in the category of teacher. And I said, I'm not a teacher. Like, what are you talking about? Stop putting education behind my degree. But that's not who I'm. And it was every year for 3 years. Every time I looked at my transcript, it was under education. And I had to finally like go to the office and watch them remove it before they removed it. And I said, why is it that everybody wants me to be a teacher? Why is it that everybody come to me with their problems? Like, I mean, relationship problems. And I, at that point, I had never been in a relationship. And people would say, well, why do they come to you for relationship advice if you never been in a relationship? That doesn't make any sense. But I could get them great advice. At the same time, I also understood that as a person wanting a relationship and as a person that longed for a relationship and a true partnership, I knew what worked and what did not work just from looking at all the other relationships I had an experience. I had a chance to look at what went wrong. And many times I was friends with both parties. So they would each telling me about the other person. And then when they left, I'm like, oh, well, that was the problem. Y'all should have just talked that out. Right. And I'm saying this because a lot of us have, again, we have been doing what we have been called to do, but we have not always recognized it as such. And so when I get in this space, I always have to be mindful that in this space, I am being a teacher of sorts. I am teaching you how to heal and how to be your best self and how to live striving, there we go. Live and striving to the best of your ability because that's where spirit will have us to go. Now, I'm not going to always say that I always did because, again, I was on this bumpy road too, right? I didn't know that the bumps in my life would take me to this space. But in hindsight, I am now seeing them and have been able to grow from them and able to share that with you all so that you do not make the same mistakes that I did. Um, there were some cycles that I had to go through over and over and over again. And it got to the point where I just said, listen, just tell me what it is. I do not know what it is. Show it, break it down for me one more time because obviously I'm missing something, but I'm tired of going through this. Um, and now we're here. Now we're at the space of things are falling into place the way that they're supposed to be. And that's where many of us are going. Um, I do want to pull Divine Animal Oracle deck for everyone. I figured that was going to fall. Yep, the two cards, the two cards that came out before, and an additional. So the cards that came out before was Lioness, protection, how we must keep ourselves protected, and the Rhinoceros, moderation, doing things in moderation so that we are not overstressing. Did I leave? Oh, there it is. Because I want to read. I'm going to read those to you first before I get to the last card. And I'm not going to read a whole too much out of these because they have different sections in them. There we go. So 21, the Lioness, protection. You are strongly protected right now. You are invited to embrace your authenticity and to be unafraid to wisely express your emotions. To protect others, we must learn to develop strength in ourselves and to know the power of restraint, which is what real power involves. Again, preserve your power. Okay, yeah. In many temple artworks, the lion headed Egyptian goddess Sekhmet strides powerfully towards the pharaoh. Her protection is extended to him and around him, effectively providing security and physically safeguarding him, particularly in times of war. After winning a terrible battle, Sekhmet maintained her battle rage and bloodlust. She looked around her and wished to still kill and spill blood. The people trembled and the gods noticed. The god Ra turned the Nile red, so it looked like blood, and invited Sekhmet to quench her thirst there. She drank and drank, but the river was not blood, but beer. Her bloodlust was curbed by her intoxication, and she became peaceful again. In ritual, the priestess of Sekhmet would intoxicate themselves and encourage worshippers to do the same in order to both connect themselves to the goddess and reduce her destructive energy. If you've ever seen a lioness in the wild, you will immediately understand the nature of the magic of this magnificent feline. Lionesses are hugely powerful and work as a team to bring down prey and to protect the young. This contrast of lethal power and tender protectiveness is the key to lioness magic. Plug into lioness magic in situations when you need responsible power and when you may need some help in restraining a destructive energy such as rage. So, if you have been highly frustrated with things, right? Spirit is saying, put a lid on it, cage it up a little bit, right? It can still be its true authentic self, right? In a way that is conducive and to your livelihood, to who you are right now. Um, Protect it in a way and use it when necessary. It's like, oh goodness. So I'm literally saying this. It's like one of those things where you keep in and it says open in case of an emergency. Use that power, use that strength, use that wit in the case of an emergency, but not for everyday use. Save some for you, save it, and when you need it, let it guide you. And then it's followed by moderation. Use it when needed, don't use it all the time. I'm getting there. And that's with the rhinoceros. Moderation. It's to seek moderation in all things, find the middle path. Not everything is an extreme choice of black versus white. Being passionate about something is positive, but to be obsessed may not be. Leave behind what you no longer need. And it says the Hindu Vedic god of fire, Akine, rides a rhinoceros with a horn so large it clears the path for all. It is said that he is the source of all passion and fire in the world, and that this fire can either burn for good or be out of control. Akini gives the fires to purify blessings. He gives the fire that a marrying couple walk around to signify the home. And he gives the fire that cooks food for nourishment. He can also give the kind of fire that causes a rise in jealousies and rage and destroys relationships until they are ash. This kind of fire can burn the countryside or your own home down. Akine challenges all to be moderate, to find the middle path, and to see balance. The magic of the rhino is a beautiful dance between strength, power, and moderation. This is an incredibly powerful animal, and yet this is balanced with calm and restraint. And the last card that came out is the red fox. And the keyword is strategy. And I mentioned that earlier about doing things strategically so that you don't tire yourself out. And so I'm going to read that. And it says, work through a strategy to get what you want. This is a time of transformation. So do not hide what you really are. Notice it didn't say who, but what you really are. Be a part of nature, not a part. Be be a part of nature, not apart from nature. Be patient. Your opportunity will come. Kami, the spirits worshipped by the Shinto religion, can be rocks, trees, animals, and even phenomena such as lightning or noted ancestors who have passed. They are manifestations of a concept called musubi, which is the interconnecting and powerful life force weaving everything together. Kami are manifestations of the energy of nature or nature itself, not apart from nature. In Japan, Inari are the spirits of prosperity, good harvest of rice, the making of sake, fertility, and the fox, while Kitsune fox is both messenger and avatar. Inari temples often have red bibbed kitsune at the gates as they are protectors of the sacred gateways. The worship of Inari probably is older than the birth of Christ, but the oldest temple found dates from around 700 AD. The fox, rice sheaf, and a magical wish fulfilling jewel are the symbols of the Inari and the Kitsune, and those red votive bibs are given out of respect. Offerings are made of sake, rice, and fried tofu at temples in exchange for for the fox messengers to help devotees with favor with the gods. If you need some prosperity in your life, or you are wishing for a more connected relationship to the world on any level, Inari or Kami may be able to give you a strategy to assist. As the Inari and the Kitsune is a living tradition, you can use modern Shinto ways to honor them. And if you are lucky enough, you can visit one of the Kitsune temples in Japan. Fox magic is transformative, and foxes can help you find the best way to get through any puzzling or difficult situation. And if you've been here at the beginning, or if you will watch the beginning later, I mentioned about strategy and being strategic a lot. Um, just because, and getting back to the true essence of nature, getting to that true essence, because when you get to the true essence, you see how the world was made and why certain things operate the way they're supposed to operate. A lot of people don't understand that. Like, I had to explain to a young lady, for an example, we all know now that the rain falls from the sky, and that's what gives us um, water, right? It waters our plants. It helps to prevent droughts from happening. But I explained to the young lady that the in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, it talks about how at first the world was watered from the ground up, which means that the water was already within it, which means that the sustenance to keep and upkeep the earth is already within itself. And if we are a part of the earth, we must also recognize that everything that we need is already within us. We have to tap into the true essence of ourselves and the earth to realize this. And everything that we need, what's in us, comes out of us and help guides us to where we need to go. Mm, think of writers, right? Writers write books, poetry. Lyricists write lyrics based off of what's inside. And it comes out because it's authentically already there. And so, if we recognize that by getting to the true nature of earth and how we're supposed to be in this earth, would take us to the most extreme, utmost creative thing, we will then understand that we already have the strategies on how to win already within us. We already know how to be prosperous. And that goes along with the card faith. Remember, stay strong in your faith. And what was the other one? Let yourself sparkle and shine. So if you already know who you are and what you are meant to do on this earth, you will have faith that whatever is already inside of you will take you to where you got to go. You will also understand that when you start to sparkle and shine, that nobody can take out that shine except you. Nobody can force it out of you, force it away from you, except for you. And what's this? Wait. This came out, the Sugar Light came out a little later, but it says own your divine power. Which means that you know how much power to give to people, you know how much power to keep for yourself. I'm trying to find this other card. It was opal. Oh, I already said it. So the opal, that's what it was. The opal was the overall energy for these cards, which means that as you're owning your power and as you're staying strong in your faith, let yourself sparkle and shine, knowing that that is where you're meant to be. When you hear and see the things, I'm thinking about honey right now, and how people say, you know, getting that raw honey is the best because it's like it's straight out of the garden. It gives you what you need. It blesses you with what you need to be blessed with. That's that same thing, right? It's that when people see you, they get a chance to see the authentic rawness of who you are to your core, but it's so good. It's like being a walking, living nutrient. Okay, it might be a little too far out there, but hey, just think of it as anybody who comes across you will get, like, come across your path, will get the authentic you, will get the you that is so connected with spirit that when they leave your presence, they're going to feel love. They're going to feel like, I just heard, feel like they've been touched by an angel, right? Um, they should feel different. They should feel something, a spark of something, a spark of hope, a spark of faith, a spark of joy, even if it's small, right? Because again, we are in a world where it's so much darkness and so much heaviness that we need light, that we need something that's uplifting. And we can do that whenever we are in the right space at the right time for ourselves. So I just wanted to share that with you all tonight. Um, I do these, if this is your first time, I do these every Monday night um, for a spiritual progress support, just to kind of let everyone know where we are spiritually. And to give messages from spirit to you all on everybody who watches this, everybody who listens, that you will know that this is where you are spiritually and this is where spirit is trying to take you and guiding you towards. So I take, I'm just the messenger. Let me put it that way. So thank you for tuning in. You can also find my YouTube channel. It's Healing Room Tarot as well. Oh, thank you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. But you can find my other videos, Healing Room Tarot on YouTube. And then tomorrow night at 11:11 Eastern Standard Time, you can catch me again with a very good friend of mine where we had cards and conversations and we talk about different topics every time. And you can also catch those recordings as well on my Instagram and as well as my YouTube page. But thank you all again for tuning in. I do personal readings, so you just have to kind of inbox me or let me know if you want a reading, and we can set that up. I'm not gonna break your bank. I promise you. I'm not gonna do that. But thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all come back. I hope you got something out of the message. Spirit wanted me to take a different directive than I normally do, so I did. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you all again. Have a good night.